You're out for dinner with friends and having a good time. The perfect time to capture a reel to post with the hashtag friendships. You got to the gig early. Plenty of time for a quick drink to kick off the night. Before you know it, you find yourself positioning the items on the table, arranging everything for an Instagram-ready photo shoot. You're on a once-in-a-lifetime holiday and day one is wrapping up. You've had a great time, but you can't shake that desire to open up social media, not only to see how many, but also who has watched your story. You don't want to be happy. You want to impress people. Yo, what is up, my friends? Today I want to cover off the 3 most common signs that someone is chasing external validation instead of trying to build a life that's going to make them truly happy. If you're new here, my name is Shane, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I just love creating systems and tools to help you make your life as happy as possible. I've been lucky enough to live across a number of different locations across the world, and one of the benefits of social media means that I can stay in touch and see what some of the people I connected with in different countries around the world are up to. Life moves so quickly these days, and sometimes it can be really difficult to stay in touch and keep in contact with these people who have really positively impacted our lives and people who we care about. And social media is great for that. Be it keeping in touch with their stories or seeing what posts they're posting or just catching up with their family life. It's a quick and easy way to just drop in, leave a comment, drop a like, and all of a sudden we feel like we're keeping in touch in what's happening in the lives of the people we care about. And that is amazing. That is one of the biggest benefits of social media. But as we all know, social media isn't all roses in the garden, and it comes with quite a lot of cons too. And one quick way to figure out if this is something that you're struggling with is just after you post something, have a little self-reflection and an assessment to see what are you hoping the next things that happen are. If you find yourself reaching for your phone, looking to see who's liked, who's commented, or how many views your story has, that might be a sign that actually you're not posting just to share with your family and friends as to what's going on in your life, but instead are actually looking for that external validation, looking for the likes, looking for the comments. And if you find yourself when you're posting picking and choosing the ones that you think will get the most likes and comments, that could be a sign that you're not actually posting to keep friends up to date on what's going on in your life, but more so trying to impress the people who follow you, trying to give this perception that you have a life that is absolutely amazing and looking for that external validation that you're doing the right things. We've all been in those situations. You're in the depths of a conversation with a couple of people, and all of a sudden the conversation moves into a position where you find yourself not quite agreeing with what has been said. Maybe it's a controversial opinion that you have, or maybe it's just a different way of thinking. But all of a sudden you find yourself a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious to actually say what you think. And all of a sudden you realize that you're actually changing your words so that it's landing a little bit softer, or even completely ignoring your actual opinions. All because you're afraid of standing out or upsetting somebody or causing a kerfuffle in the middle of a social gathering that's supposed to be quite positive, happy and upbeat. Of course, chances are you're probably not an absolutely terrible human being, and you don't want to go in and just rock the boat for the sake of it and annoy people in the middle of a social gathering. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is those times where we know clearly in our heart what we want to say and what our opinion is, but we choose not to share that opinion because we feel like it's going to go against the status quo and it's going to rub people up the wrong way. We're ignoring what our gut is telling us, and we are choosing a particular narrative purely on the back of trying to fit in more. But what's not so easy to see is the fact that you're actually just taking your own worth, your own opinion, which is worth as much as anybody else's, and saying it's not relevant. You're ignoring the things that you actually think about, all in the vein of just fitting in. Ultimately, what that means is that you're not being true to yourself and you're not living a life that aligns with you and your values. And that is a really slippery slope to end up in a position where you're living a life that isn't derived on trying to make it as happy as possible, whatever that means for you. And instead, you're building a life which makes it easier for you to fit in with those around you, despite the fact that that may be making you overall less happy. About 6 months ago, I decided that I wanted to learn guitar. Now, at the time, I had absolutely no experience in really any musical instruments, and it's something that didn't really sit well with me. Music has always been a massive part of my life, and I never really liked the fact that I couldn't play an instrument. So enough was enough, and I decided in October last year that I was going to get my hands on a guitar and start learning. Now, at the time, I didn't really know anything about guitars. I didn't know whether to get an electric or an acoustic, and I figured all I wanted to do was just at least make a start. So I managed to get my hands on an acoustic guitar from my sister-in-law under loan, thank you very much, and I started learning with that. But after a number of months, I wanted to get one of my own. I just wanted to invest some money, more than I had done so far, to say, no, look, this is something that I'm actually going to take seriously, and let's put my money where my mouth is. And ultimately I went in and I picked up this. Now this is a very entry-level learner guitar, but on the day when I went in, I was super excited. I didn't know what I was going in for, but it was a big day. I went into a shop up in Dublin and I chatted with the staff in there who were super helpful. And next thing you know, I'm coming out and I'm leaving with this electric guitar. And since then, this has been something that I've picked up, if not every day, at least 5 or 6 days a week. And it has significantly changed my life, even though I can only play a handful of songs and a handful of chords, and most of the notes that I strum end up not really sounding very good. But it doesn't matter. I'm enjoying the process, and having this has significantly changed my life for the better. On the flip side though, I used to be somebody who used to love buying new phones. Back when smartphones came out first, I found myself getting a new phone every 6 or 9 months. It started off with the HTC Desire, which was an absolutely unbelievably cool phone that I just absolutely fell in love with. And from there then I went into a number of other different smartphones, and I would just got caught up in the energy of the new phones being released at a time when smartphones were moving so quickly that even in the space of 6 months, the difference between one phone and the next could be massive. Now that we're 10, 15 years on, builds in smartphones don't come quite as quickly, and there's not that significant of a change between the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 13 and iPhone 12. And so now when I find myself getting a new phone, yes, I still get that excitement. I still get that, ooh, it's getting delivered today, ooh. I still get that buzz and that warm feeling in my stomach, the exact same way I did with my guitar. But what's different is, because iPhones automatically back up to iCloud and automatically log back in when you open up a new one, within 2 or 3 hours, that excitement's pretty much gone. And all of a sudden, this new device that I've spent €1,000 on is just part of the furniture, and it's not really made any significant impact. That example of buying a new phone couldn't be more different from the story of me buying my first guitar. After a week, the phone just goes into my pocket the exact same way as my last one did, and all of a sudden it just becomes part of every single day. If you find yourself where most of the big purchases that you're making in your life kind of fit into this box, that too could be a sign that you're buying things not to make yourself actually happier, but to keep up with the status quo, keep up with the Joneses, and portray that image that you have everything in control and you're living a good life, all for people who are external to you, and not actually giving yourself an ability to be more happy. That's this week's video, folks. I'm really interested to know what you think about this one, so make sure you leave a comment down below to let me know. But with all that said and done, that's this week's video, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace!